Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulullah. Ayah A, episode 79. ولما جاءهم كتاب من عند الله مصدقا لما معهم وكانوا من قبل يستفتحون على الذين كفروا فلما جاءهم ما عرفوا كفروا به فلعنة الله على الكافرين بئس ما اشتروا به أنفسهم أن يكفروا بما أنزل الله بغيا أن ينزل الله من فضله على من يشاء من عباده فباءوا بغضب على غضب وللكافرين عذاب مهين. So subhanAllah, here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us about, well, now we've made a big transition now, and this big transition includes going from talking about Bani Israel's reaction and their reception of their very own book that was sent to them, the Torah. The Torah. And now Allah is saying, now when a book came to y'all that confirmed what y'all already had in y'all's book, aka a book came to them that confirmed what they had known and what they had been familiar with and what they had been taught in the Torah, what did they do? And of course this book is the Quran. And the Quran really affirmed everything that was in the Torah. And if there are any discrepancies in, let's say, the Old Testament or in the Bible from the Quran, well, it's not because the Quran is wrong. The Quran was never changed. Guess what was changed? The Old Testament, the New Testament, aka the Torah and the Bible. Alright, that being said, everything that's in the Quran affirms what came before. And then subhanAllah, they would be, the Yahud in Medina, they would be like super excited for the next messenger to come, for the last messenger to come. Because they would sometimes be at war with the Arabs in Medina, or in Yathrib, at the time it was Yathrib. And subhanAllah, at times they would ally themselves with the Arabs in Yathrib, and at times, because things switch. Then at times it would be the Arabs versus the Yahud. Because things switch as different people take leadership of the tribe. So one leader might have been like, okay, we're gonna ally with Arabs. And then that leader passes away, his son becomes a new leader and be like, nah, it's Yahud against Arabs, y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it. Don't get it twisted. We got this. So then they just start fighting back and forth. So whenever it was the Yahud versus the Arabs, the Yahud would be like, hey, just y'all wait. Maybe y'all gonna get some victories. Maybe y'all gonna get some good licks in. But as soon as our prophet comes with this message, we're gonna destroy y'all. We're gonna wipe y'all off the face of the earth. So they were super excited for that. However, as soon as the message comes, as soon as the Prophet ﷺ is sent, they recognized him. Because in the Torah, it is very, like subhanAllah, from the passages that they have in the Torah, they were able to tell as soon as they see the Prophet ﷺ, they're like, yep, that's him. But they didn't believe. And the problem is, they didn't believe because they were so focused on, he's going to be one of us. They were never promised that the Prophet ﷺ will be sent as a Jew. They never promised them at any point, ever. But they just assumed that because they got so used to having prophets sent to them from amongst them, they'd be like, yeah, this last one, the big one, the main one, he's going to be from us too. And we're going to destroy these Arabs as soon as he comes. And then he's sent amongst Arabs. And he's like, oh, dang. It's him, right? Like, yeah, of course it's him. We all know it. They're like, are we going to believe? No, we're not going to believe. We're going to fight this with until our dying breath. Why? Because otherwise we have to admit that after all these years of threatening these guys, saying that we're going to destroy them, now Allah sends a prophet amongst them. So they would rather suffer the punishment of rejecting the prophet when they know the prophet is a legit prophet sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than to be humbled by saying, yeah, we was wrong, y'all. let's make peace. They'd rather be punished than to be humbled. Allah says, so the curse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The curse of Allah, as we mentioned a few times now, is when you are made to be far away from the mercy of Allah, which is a terrible place to be. As the curse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is upon the disbelievers. So these disbelievers, it's not a good place to be. They should not be disbelievers. And then subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, how terrible is this transaction that they conducted when they disbelieved in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, pride, arrogance, all that stuff. And basically because they was like, out of that pride and out of that arrogance, it turns into this matter of like envy. And like, there's like very strong negativity associated with this envy, like this hatred. Because they're like, no, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to send the prophet to us, and to us alone. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who sends the revelation to whom he wills. They don't control Allah. They can't tell, like, yeah, Allah sent it, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to listen to this. Who is God in this equation? Is it these people, or is it actually Allah, God? Of course it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The people, no. I think subhanAllah, it's actually a very disturbing notion. There are some people who have an inappropriate idea of who God is. And they think that they can control God. They think that God has to do their bidding. God has to bend to their will. Otherwise, God is not actually God. It doesn't make any sense, but I don't know what they think the definition of God is. But from what I've learned, God is an omnipotent being, all-powerful being. Why would an all-powerful being listen to somebody? So subhanAllah, they earned the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they earned the wrath over and over again. And here it doesn't specifically mention the wrath of Allah, which is a good thing for them. It doesn't specifically mention the wrath of Allah, but Allah says done. But they kept earning the wrath. Alright, they kept earning it. Initially, because of the treatment of Musa alayhi salam, the Torah, and all the messages of the prophets after that, and then the final prophet, once again the treatment of the final prophet, and for the disbelievers, they will have a humiliating, disgracing punishment. Just like this dude. We grab by this one leg, this one around, swung, and then